The New Orleans Saints have to start Taysom Hill this season. They should start Taysom Hill this season. He is the quarterback that will give them the most upside. He is the quarterback that could potentially bring them the most success in 2021. I like Jameis Winston. I've always been a Jameis Winston guy. I enjoy watching him play. He is exciting. But I'd be lying to you if I said Jameis Winston, with the specific roster that the Saints have right now, would be a better option to start at quarterback than Taysom Hill. So in this video, I'm going to break down why I believe Taysom Hill is the guy that Sean Payton should start for the Saints in 2021. Before I give you my thoughts on the quarterback situation with the Saints this upcoming season, make sure that you do spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Bottom Line View content just like this. And check out my Patreon for more exclusive NFL content not found on YouTube. It's difficult replacing a legend. It's very hard to replace a legend. And most likely, the Saints won't be the same team they were a year ago. In fact, I strongly believe they will not have the success they did in 2020. That's not to say they can't be successful, though. So when you're thinking about how the Saints can be successful, you have to think about their strengths and their weaknesses on their football team. And to me, the quarterback that most embodies the team that I believe can win the most games, the style of play that the Saints need to play with in order to be competitive, I believe that Taysom Hill is that quarterback over Jameis Winston. Taysom Hill, in case you forgot, is being paid about double the salary of Jameis Winston entering this season. But despite that, almost everybody is assuming, including myself, I'm at fault for this as well, that Jameis Winston will be the starter. Almost everybody. Taysom Hill, when you look at it on paper, when you think about it logically, even though he's not the guy that was the #1 overall pick, even though he's not the guy that is the traditional passer or the traditional quarterback, Taysom Hill is the quarterback for the Saints this year. But why exactly is Taysom Hill the quarterback for the Saints? What makes him special? What makes him better and a better option for the Saints than Jameis Winston? The Saints' strengths are up front. Their strengths are on offense, their offensive line. They have one of the best offensive lines in football. That has not changed. Drew Brees has retired. He will be on his way to Canton. But Ryan Ramczyk didn't retire. Teron Armstead didn't retire. So why should this team deviate? Alvin Kamara, arguably the best player on the football team, plays running back. Who's their best defensive player? Cameron Jordan. Demario Davis could be their second best defensive player. This is a strong front seven, capable of shutting down the run game as they have the last 3-4 years in a row, being one of the best run defenses in the league. They drafted another defensive end in the first round in Turner. They've got plenty of depth up front in that front seven. It's almost sneaky good because of how many good players they actually lost this offseason. So it's still quality there. So when you look at the strengths of both sides of the football, it's the offensive line, it's the front seven, it's the line of scrimmage. So what am I getting at with this? The Saints should be, in 2021, a team that runs the football. They should be a power football team. They should have a physical style of play. And they should try to win with defense. I know that sounds odd, but for Sean Payton, I believe his best offense can come with Taysom Hill at quarterback. You look at the wide receiving core for the Saints. It's one of the worst in football. With Michael Thomas or without Michael Thomas, I don't really care. It's one of the worst in the NFL. Just look at the names on their depth chart and keep in mind that Michael Thomas will be out for a good portion of this season. You have Traequan Smith, who's never really done much. He's shown some flashes, a little bit of promise here and there, but he's nothing special. Most teams would consider him a number 3 option in the passing game. Marquise Callaway, some hype out of camp. Some fans like him, but I have yet to see anything of substance. Deontay Harris is mostly a gadget player, and Chris Hogan was playing lacrosse. So these receivers are not very good. They're one of the worst units in the league. You lost Jared Cook at tight end. You have a complete unknown in Adam Troutman, even though if people think he is talented, which is fair. If you think he's going to have a breakout season, totally cool. But he's also, what is he good at? Blocking. In fact, PFF ranked him as one of the most efficient blockers in the league a year ago. So, Alvin Kamara, a good run blocking tight end, a strong offensive line. Taysom Hill is an excellent athlete. I could make an argument that Taysom Hill is the best athlete in the NFL, period. You could argue that. Now, Taysom Hill is not the best traditional passer. He's not going to be Drew Brees. He's not going to be Tom Brady. He's not going to be Peyton Manning. But what he can be is he can be a little bit of Cam Newton. He can be a little bit of Lamar Jackson. He can be a little bit of Kyler Murray in his own way, shape, and form. He has great power. He has great strength. He can break tackles. He's fast. He's very athletic. And he's not a bad passer. Just take a look at his stats a year ago, right? He's not the most accurate pinpoint guy in the world, play after play, snap after snap, but that's not what this offense would be if Taysom Hill would take over. This offense would be more Alvin Kamara, more Latavius Murray. They signed Devontae Freeman for a reason, guys. They have a lot of running backs on this roster, and I feel that's the direction they're going without Drew Brees. Even last year, they were going in that direction. Even in years past, with Drew Brees at the end of his career, because he didn't really have an arm to stress down the field, they ran the ball more, and they ran the ball better, and arguably their run game was better than their pass game. I know the mystique of the Saints can kind of throw some people off in terms of what they've been offensively with Drew Brees and Sean Payton, but I'd like to let you know that they were actually a way better rushing team than they were a passing team last year. They ranked in the top 5 running the football last season. They were 6th in yards, 5th in rush attempts, 1st in rushing touchdowns. The team was 19th in passing yards last year, 25th in attempts. So last season, even with Drew Brees for a majority of the games, they were not a good passing offense. They were not. So do you expect Jameis Winston to really be better than Drew Brees? Even if he is, it's going to be marginal. It's not going to be by much. Running the football, you could potentially make the 6th most yards, the 1st most yards. So why don't you just lean into that? You look at New England, which is my team. You look at that team and what they're doing post Tom Brady. And yes, it didn't work out in the first year. I think a lot of that had to do with the roster talent. I think the Saints have a better roster right now than the Patriots last year. But if you just lean into your strengths without that legendary quarterback, right? New England had the offensive line. They had the run game. They brought in Cam Newton to help that, right? Taysom Hill, the same thing. You could do the same thing as New England's trying to do, Josh McDaniels is trying to do. You can try to replicate that with Sean Payton, and I believe they can do that and have some success and find some success. Obviously, Sean Payton's had plans for Taysom Hill for a very long time. He's been considering this for a very long time. He's had so many plays up his sleeves, he can't even keep them from coming out of his sleeves. Taysom Hill helps that power running game. As an athlete, just the ability for a defense to have to account for him makes your run game that much more effective and efficient. He's also less turnover prone. Let's just be fair and honest. Jameis Winston is prone to turnovers. Even before Bruce Arians, Jameis was fumbling the ball, throwing interceptions, making bad decisions. And with wide receivers that are not named Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and lack the ability to get open, that's going to even force that a little bit more. Now you could say that Sean Payton will help him and he'll go to the check down more often, but you know who's better at that? Taysom Hill's better at that. Taysom Hill has shown that he can be decent at that. The Saints already have a very effective screen game. The only thing Jameis really offers over Taysom Hill in terms of actual on-field prowess and talent is downfield passing. But look at these receivers. What do you have here that actually allows you to be a deep passing team? You don't have enough talent on the perimeter, nor at tight end, to make that an option for you this year. So Taysom Hill, He's not an awful underneath intermediate passer. He can rip the ball. He has a strong enough arm to make throws down the field. Now, he's not as accurate, but Jameis isn't really one of the more accurate guys in the league either, right? He's big. He can take hits. He can move around the pocket. His pocket presence is pretty solid. He definitely plays the part of a traditional quarterback better, but Taysom Hill's ability to make your run game better, his threat as a runner, his threat to extend plays, his threat of being a unique specimen, I think supersedes what Jameis offers as a passer. So to me, it's clear. You add a unique dimension to this offense, and you're getting rid of a guy that really doesn't fit. It's like trying to force a square peg into a round hole with Jameis Winston. Like, it doesn't work with Jameis Winston this year. I could understand if you had the Bucs receivers and you put them in this Saints offense and you tried to make that work. That would work for me. I would totally start Jameis Winston. But given that Michael Thomas is injured and given the current situation of your receiving core, I just don't see how the option of Jameis is stronger than the option for Taysom for wins and losses. He went 3-1 last year. Taysom was doing pretty well. Where would your offense actually rank in the passing game with Jameis Winston? Like, where would it rank? Probably the low end of expectation would be bottom 3, bottom 5 in the league. I don't think that's unfair to say. It could probably get as good as like middle of the road. So are you going to take, think about this for a second, a middle of the road passing game, that's the upside, or are you going to take the best run game in the league? Like, pick one of them, okay? Now, I'm not saying that the run game wouldn't be good with Jameis because it would still be quality, but I think you're going from, let's say, the 5th best to the absolute best or the 2nd best. I just don't see how the upside for Jameis as a passer supersedes the ability to defeat teams offensively in a number of different ways with Taysom Hill in what he offers as an athlete. I just don't see that. Because personally, I would love to see in Sean Payton's brain, him game planning for Taysom Hill, I think would be extraordinary. I think it would be a very fun watch. Win, lose, or draw, it would be fascinating to watch. Jameis Winston, what are you running? A lesser version of the Drew Brees offense? Maybe you're a little bit more downfield happy, but again, you don't have the weapons to do so. With Taysom Hill, you could be maybe running a little bit of a version of a Lamar Jackson offense. You could be doing so many different things that we haven't seen from the Saints, which I think inherently would give them an edge because defenses have never seen that on tape. And then it's coming from the mind of Sean Payton. How many layers could he add to traditional pass plays that he already has, right? He can keep it simple for Taysom Hill as a passer and not make it overly difficult for him. We've already seen Taysom Hill actually have more success than people thought he could in the NFL last year. He went 3-1 as a starter. He had a 70% completion percentage. That's pretty darn good, right? That's definitely good enough. If you get that plus his ability to run the football, you're going to be a competitive football team with possibly a playoff chance, or at least on the borderline. Like, you're going to be interesting if you get Taysom Hill there, right? 928 yards passing, a 7.6 air yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns to 2 picks, including the rushing touchdowns that he offered as well. And last season, as a runner, he had 457 yards, 8 touchdowns, and a 5.3 yards per carry. I just would really like to see the Saints go in the direction of Taysom Hill because I think it makes them a much more unique offense. It makes them a much more dynamic, different team to game plan for than Jameis Winston. I feel like Jameis Winston, I don't see the upside. Lackluster weapons, yes, a good offensive line, but Jameis Winston's not a top 20 passer. He's not. He's not. Downside of him just throwing a game away, we haven't seen Taysom really do that. And the Saints aren't built for Jameis Winston at this moment in time. It should be Taysom Hill's job this year. The defense was good last year. I think it has a chance to be good again, given the talent that's been replenished there over the past couple of weeks. I feel much better about it now. I feel like they're probably in the top half, flirting with top 10 defense overall, and if they can get the same sort of defense they got last year, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Their special teams is also excellent, so you can lean on the special teams. First in starting position for the offense last season. Who's better in the red zone? That would be Taysom Hill. Just going to say that much. And then defensively, they were also in the top 10. Deontay Harris is an extraordinary returner, one of the best in the league. They've got a good special teams. They've got a pretty good defense. They've got a really good running game. Add Taysom to that mix. Don't turn the ball over. Run the ball. Be the best at it. And let that athlete be the guy in charge. And to me, I think that is the upside with this team. It's being unique. I'd rather go with the unique path than the traditional path, when the traditional path is not one that puts you with a top 5 passer, with a top 10 passer. I'd rather have the athlete in that case. So for me, Taysom Hill should be the guy in New Orleans. Let me know in the comments how you feel, and let me know if my argument made you change your mind. It's Mitch. Thanks for watching. Gronk, spike that like button. Subscribe for more. Peace.